Last year I conducted a semester-long research about continuous assessment. So if you're not familiar with continuous assessment, basically it's a departure from normal grading standards. So we're excluding summative evaluations and tests and things like this, rather using multiple formative evaluations and trying to individualize materials and resources depending on the needs of the students. Um, uh, Continuous assessment also focuses on activities, and these activities demand learner performance, and they need to show that the students have actually gained some skills. Things like reading logs, journals, work samples, recordings, blogs, discussions. These are things that we can actually formatively assess students on multiple times. In a curriculum using this methodology, students are actually assessed on the accumulation of their grades. So this means that their grades go up and not down. So for each activity they complete, they learn, they gain points, and in turn this is meant to motivate learners, make students more autonomous, reflective, and monitor their own learning. But one very important point is that CA feedback needs to be done promptly, and it has to be done in a non-judgmental way. So in this way, I think that learning management systems make this quite easier because we can give individualized feedback and guidance online in a timely manner. This is something that you usually can't do in a class, and it's uninterrupted. It's an uninterrupted process, and students can actively engage in their learning and hopefully be more aware of their skills at the end of the course. So during my research, it was a 14-week period. I used 67 students in 3 different EFL classes at Meiji Gakuen University. It was basic English. And I basically wanted to see if the students' perception for the LMS actually changed in a positive way utilizing CA. So basically I used 2 surveys, a written feedback, and the grade books and the homework, with the goal to try to understand the students' changes in affective behaviors using the 3 key points of CA, which are resources, activities, and the curriculum, and using Engrade as the LMS. Basically, for the t-tests, I did 2 different types of research using t-tests and correlations. The t-tests basically, if you're not familiar with them, are based on 2 different evaluations done over a span of time. The first and the second are done. I did mine as exploratory, so if you look on the right, you'll see it says SIG two-tailed. This actually means exploratory research, and for it to be negative or positive has a big meaning and actual meaning. For t-tests, the significance is either a 95% significance, which is 0.05 level, or a 99% significance, which is a 0.01 level. If it falls in between these zones, we can say with conviction that through the highest confidence that this didn't happen by chance, that these didn't change by just chance, and that it wasn't just big thumbs. The mean on the left-hand side is also important for the t-test because if it falls within the 95 confidence interval rates, this gives us even more proof that our findings were correct and that there was some changes. So during the surveys, there was 2. The main 3 that came up, question 1, question 4, and question 5, changed significantly, and they changed positively. So basically those 3 questions on the survey were I can log in easily, I always know my grade, and it's easy to do my homework. What this means is it got easier to log in, they knew their grade, more, and it was easier for them to complete their homework online as the semester progressed. This is really good to see, and so from there I looked at some different correlations. One of them was the correlations with the homework grades. So basically, students who did well on their homework were able to find their homework easily. Students who did well on their homework always knew their grade. And students who did their homework actually enjoyed seeing other students doing homework online and reading their posts. This is good for resources because it means that the material and the resources fit the needs of the learner. And I feel that it was individualized material and that they actually enjoyed the experience. Next was grades, and I found that the grades and the homework were directly related. So if they got good final grades, they got good homework grades. Now this doesn't seem like it's significant, but the homework was only worth about 20%. So 80% of their grade was actually in some other area. Also, if students got good grades, it meant that they always were checking their grade, and they felt they always knew their grade. And they also were checking more than once a week. This is good for the curriculum for CA because basically it relates to self-reflection and autonomy. This means that the students were going out and checking on their own learning and seeing how they were progressing. Also, I looked at question number 4 and its correlations. Question number 4 is about knowing their grades. Basically, students who said that they always knew their grade felt that Engrade was good for EFL learning. This is great for activities because that means that the activities were actually demanding performance out of the learners, and they were able to get something out of the learning experience. We did have some negative correlation, and one of those was that students who said that they always knew their grade felt that the teacher didn't respond quickly enough. This is actually bad for CA because my feedback as a teacher needs to be prompt for the students to get the best out of it. In my defense, I had a really hard semester. I was actually doing 4 writing courses, and I wasn't able to monitor the discussions and the homework assignments as much as I would like to. I was probably grading 20 hours a week, so they actually make an app for this one. Also, there was more negative aspects. One was students who actually said they knew their grades didn't access the Engrade system more than once a week. And this is also bad because we want students accessing the system as much as possible because it shows self-reflection. So one other aspect we were looking at was the first question, so I'm able to log in. Basically, if students were able to log in, they felt positive about all other aspects of the system. And that was great to see. And that really means that the LMS system made it easier for the students to get individualized feedback. They felt actively engaged. They were more autonomous and reflective, and also they felt it was good for EFL study. Unfortunately, those who logged in, who felt that it was easier to log in, didn't actually do well or didn't do any better than anyone else in their homework or their grades. This may be because the students who said that they were logging in all the time, maybe they weren't accessing the system enough during the end of the semester, which this correlation is based off of. This is not good because if the students weren't accessing the system, it's bad for the activities and the curriculum side of continuous assessment. So basically, I think overall, looking at the mean comparisons and the t-tests, I saw a high level in the students' acceptance of the LMS. I think the students enjoyed doing their tasks more online. Those who monitored their grades did better in the course, and but however, I think as I'm processing all of the qualitative data, I'm finding that students had some ICT and IT problems. And I think that's why we're seeing these negative aspects and these negative correlations. But Engrade is great, but there are a lot of other LMSs out there. So I highly suggest go out there, assess your own students' needs, and decide which one is correct for you. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop here and take some questions, so it'll take about 10 minutes.